So I figure I would just talk about my new job, serving. And I know tipping culture is out of control, but I wanted to just talk about what is it like working as a server? What do you do, and how much money can you expect to make typically? Well, I mean, first and foremost, serving, you of course take guests' orders. You make sure that they are correct with the kitchen. You basically check on the guests every now and then. Make sure that their drinks are, fully stocked up if they want. Um, and basically, you're responsible for checking uh, or closing checks. But in addition, there are some times where you won't have a busser or a person working expo, which is the person who runs the food out. So basically, a server will also act as a food runner and as a busser, and even at times a barista. So they basically have several different jobs to perform all at once. And when it's slow, it's manageable. But when it gets busy in doing all those tasks, it becomes a little overwhelming because now you have to take care of, 4 to 5 tables all at once, get their drinks, make sure their food order's correct, run their food, bus the tables, make sure that the next group of guests that come in are seated and actually greeted in a proper time frame. So you work under a very tight time constraint. And I'm not complaining because I can work pretty fast. But I'm just saying, for people who think servers are lazy, I mean, please think again because they aren't. I've seen people who literally struggle just to perform the tasks that they're given because they get overwhelmed so easily. I mean, because there are times where it can get really busy, and if you are short staffed, you are fucked. Basically, you have to do the jobs of not just one person, but two, basically. Each person has to effectively do the job of two people because you're short a person. That places a lot of different responsibilities now on you because now you have part of a section to take care of. By the way, whenever you're serving, you're responsible for a certain portion of the restaurant, so you're given a certain number of tables to basically serve. So, for example, the restaurant I work in, there are 20 tables total. Now, most weekdays, you have 4 servers working the restaurant. So they're responsible for 5 tables. And weekends, you get 5 servers because weekends are pretty busy. And then during the nights, you have 2 servers. And of course, you have one manager on duty at all times. So, but now let's talk about the wage. Server wages are $2.13 an hour. That has not changed. For me, it is slightly higher. It's $2.30 an hour. But most of your salary is based on tips. And for those of you that don't know, if you pay tips in cash, um, that's not taxed. You don't have to report that. Now, do you always get tips in cash? No. And another thing is that if you get credit card tips, which a lot of the times you do, that's going to be taxed on your paycheck. Now, I'm sorry, my cat keeps fucking moving and it's annoying. And sorry if I keep swearing, but that's just my coping mechanism for not completely blowing up. I've been doing better about my anger issues. I think serving has kind of increased my patience overall, um, especially with people. I don't really say or do much of anything anymore. I don't really lash out at people much anymore. Sorry, I had to push my cat off the bed because he keeps clawing at my. Why am I even talking into this thing? I think it's running low on battery or it's not connecting. So anyway, let's talk about the server wages. Um, the server wages, I mean, for me, typically, if you're working a busy day, a busy weekday, you can expect to earn, you know, at least for me, it typically was in the ballpark of 160 to $190 in cash. Now, my job is a little unusual because your tips are paid out in cash. So there's that. Um, okay, now for some reason this thing disconnected and now it reconnected. As I was saying, so for our particular restaurant, our tips are shared. Now, on a typical weekday, you could probably earn anywhere from $160 to $190 in cash. Our tips are paid in cash, which is great. So we don't get credit card tips. Basically, any tips that we get, credit card or cash, they're just grouped together as cash. We get paid out daily. That's if, of course, you work daily. I'm only scheduled for 1 day a week right now, so I'm trying to pick up more shifts if I can, especially in the mornings, because the mornings are where you really make the most money, at least for our particular location, because our location's mostly known for breakfast. I mean, we have lunch and dinner, but we're mostly known for breakfast and coffee. Weekends, you can expect to make around $200 in cash. Sometimes, if you're lucky, $225, maybe even $250, but that's rare. Mind you, these are shared tips, and this is over the course of about 7 to 8 hours of work. So it's not bad, but could wages be better? Yes. Now, I'm not saying this to guilt trip anyone. I'm just saying this to give an idea of, hey, this is what you can expect to earn if you do share tips. For me, I know, for example, if I got to keep my tips on a busy day like Sunday morning, I made like $280 in tips, and that was just credit card tips. That wasn't cash tips. I probably made close to $300, but it's shared across multiple people. Now, are there lazy coworkers that I have? I mean, no, not really. I think it's just some people are faster than others, and I'm definitely starting to prove myself to be a faster person. But I'm not saying that to gloat. I'm just saying that as in, hey, I had more sales, so I bumped up the average overall, which is nice. Everyone gets paid more. So, that's typically what you can expect to make, especially if your tips are shared and your restaurant's relatively busy. Now, I just worked my first night shift last night, so from 2 to basically 8 p.m. That's when we close at 8 p.m. I stayed for about another hour, roughly, hour 15, closing. So in the span of about, I'd say 7 hours, I probably earned about somewhere around $125. $110 were cash tips. The rest was, of course, the server salary. So that comes out to about, 16, somewhere about almost $18 an hour, which, it could be worse, but, that's definitely not livable. But granted, this was a night shift, and it wasn't a particularly busy night. The busy nights that we get are Friday nights. And, Tuesday nights, you're not really going to get much business. We got a small rush from 5:30 to 6:30, and then after that, it kind of died down. Whereas for breakfast, we get usually a 3 to 4 hour rush. So basically from 8:30 to 12 or noon, or even 12:30, we're basically packed. So, but thankfully there are enough servers to handle that. It's just, we're all going to be busy for the next, 3 to 4 hours. So, anyway, next time you think about not tipping your servers, just think about all the stress that they're put under to make sure that you are happy and that, the restaurant runs smoothly, because without the servers, that restaurant's not going to run. I mean, yeah, you also have the cooks, you also have the bussers, the dishwasher, busser/dishwasher. You have the manager. They're all equally important as well. But if you don't have servers, or if you don't have one key component, the whole thing goes to shit. So next time you're out and about, just tip your waiter or waitress. Doesn't have to be an insane amount, but just consider the fact that they do a lot of work for basically little pay, and really they're just relying on the generosity of others to make their living. Now, I don't have complaints. I just wish I had more shifts to pick up. So, we'll see. But so far, I'm liking the new job. It's keeping me busy, and I think that's what I need. Um, so, anyway, also, I did get my back checked out, and it's fine. There's no compressed discs or anything. I just need to go easy for the next few weeks. So, that's probably what I'll be doing. Um, might focus more on my bench press. I might still do deadlifts, of course, and squats, but I'm not going to go up to my 1 rep max. That's going to be too much for my back. So I hope you guys are doing well, and I'll talk to you guys later.